Hey everybody, it's Chalkin History with Shelly. Come on in. Let's finish our Peanuts Classic Valentine garland that we started earlier today. Make sure we're live. Say hello. We have a red live box at the top left corner of your screen. If you see it, you are live with me. If you don't, you're catching the replay, but you can rewind, you can fast forward, you can just skip everything and go right to the end to see our fun finished project. Hold on, guys. All right, gotta get to my page. Say hello. Give us a thumbs up. This is part 2. Yep, part 2. All right. Also, if you want to get your hand on this cutouts and the other 3 that go with this set, and I'll show you at the end, comment Valentines and we will get you all set up for that. We're going to zoom in a little bit here. All right. Let's get our little section here all cleaned up here. Oops. There we go. Okay. Welcome in. All right. So part 1, you can go back and look through my feed. You'll see the video of how we created that. And now part 2 is we are going to create the bead garland and the tassel. Tassel we're going to create with our tassel tool, except I believe they are out of stock. I would have to look at that. But I started winding one up for myself. Okay, so I did it about 30 times. I just took some twine and just kept turning or winding and winding. So when you start with your initial piece, I kind of just hold it down. I wind, and then when I come and finish, that finished part meets so that they're about the same length, okay? Then we're gonna take a piece of twine, and I love that they have this area cut out. So it's easily, you can easily stick it in there. So I'm going to just tie it. I'm going to leave this a little bit longer. Okay, so we're going to try to, actually, I think we can take that off. Let's take this off. Okay, I'm going to take that off. I'm going to put a brush through there, okay? And we're going to pull that nice and tight. The thinner your twine, the more likely it might break on you. So just watch when you're pulling. I've had it happen. It's snapped on me before. Okay, so we're just going to tighten that. We're going to let that piece, that long piece fall. Okay. And then we're going to just take this, the other piece, and wind it around it. You can let that, you can wind it, I don't know, however many times you want to wind it, right? And then I stop. And then we'll take that long piece again. And we're going to make another knot. All right. Nice and tight. It kind of goes under all the wrapping you've done. Knot it off. Okay. And then we'll bring that down and just give that a trim. Okay, we'll need that twine in a little bit, so let's just keep that handy. This is going to be the top part of your tassel. You're actually going to put more twine through that as we make our garland, but then you're going to come through. We want to find can just cut it. We're going to cut our tassel strings. Just need to get through here. There we go. So you want to get through that big loop, pull it taut, and then just cut. Okay, perfect. And then we have all those little strands. Sometimes those, the strands that we've knotted off can be unruly. And what you could do with that is you get these handy dandy little tooth picks. They're more like for dentures and braces, but it's a thin little, just a little teeny plastic loop, right? So you would take the string that's being crazy and you loop it in there, right? And then you take the end of this and you kind of shove it through, you know, you'll shove it through one of those wrapped areas, and then you can kind of hide it behind there. Okay, but ours is laying pretty nicely, so I'm not going to mess with it. I am, however, going to come down to the bottom here, and we're just going to snip, kind of even that up a little bit. Okay, now, oops, we don't want to throw that out though. These are, they are very fragile. They do tend to break, so just be very careful with them. But I love these things. They're awesome. Okay, let's get this out of the way. So there's our tassel. Now, there's probably several different ways that people make these tassels, but this is how I do it. I actually should leave this in here. Let's see if we can find the middle. There we go. We're going to just leave that there. We don't need that anymore. We're going to need our twine here. There we go. We're going to unwind our twine. We're just going to cut a fairly long string, put that aside. Okay. We also need to decide where to put the hole in our little cutout here. So I was thinking like this felt good. Like when I hang this, it kind of falls that way. But then it kind of tips on it. It kept wanting to go either like this or like this. So I thought, oh, it wouldn't be a bad idea to hang it from here. But I kind of like it. In that corner. So I'm going to take a hole punch. We have or had a hole punch. This was our power punch. It punches 1/4 inch circles, which I just feel like that's way too big. So I found this one, and this one punches an 1/8 of an inch, which I like working in 1/8 of inches. So I bought the 1/8 of an inch. So it has a little see-through hole there. I'm going to try to I'm going to visually draw a diagonal line. So it's going to be right around there. If you want, you can kind of take something straight. And I'll probably just kind of poke it through right about there. Okay. Or you could have done it from the corner of his house too. We could do that instead of up here. Have the garland coming off this way. Let's do that. So that'll be easy to kind of poke it in the corner there. I am going to mark it though, so I'm not trying to search for where I want that. And it's an 1/8 of an inch, so it's not big at all. Okay, so you'll see right there, made a little mark with my pen. gonna shove this through, and I can see that little mark through the hole. And I'm gonna squeeze and punch. And it punches out that little teeny 1/8 inch little plug. Okay. And then it leaves behind, you can see the hole it leaves behind. Okay. So we are going to double this up. Okay, and I'm going to put that through that hole. Then I'm going to open it, right? So it's double, I don't want to say double layered, but double strung, right? I split it and I bring those two strings through. And then we're going to pull that. Okay, so that kind of knots it and keeps it in place. Now we're going to start doing our beads. So I have some farmhouse beads here. This is 16 millimeter. I'm going to say these are 20, I believe, 20 or 22, it doesn't say, but it's slightly bigger. So we're going to kind of just make a fun little pattern. You can color them, so you can color them with our chalk paste, spray paint. You could water marble them, that would be fun. You could do all sorts of things. Let's see. I'm just going to get a tray to put these in. Start with this. And we're just going to do a fun little pattern. So you could do that, those little dental floss things to feed this through our beads, or a fun little trick is you take some tape. I have my transfer tape. And then we kind of wrap a little piece around the ends. Okay, bring those together. Wrap it around. Nice and tight. Okay. Once that's that, and then you just start stringing your beads. So I think I'm going to do 2 small and then 1 big. 2 small. And 1 big. Now you don't have to make this long if you don't want to. You could actually, sometimes a lot of people will do enough to make a little ring. You can hang things from like a doorknob or like a cabinet knob. It depends. If I was gonna hang it from like a doorknob, I probably would have put the hole up in this corner so that you could read the design. Otherwise it would be upside down. It would hang upside down. We're gonna make a garland, cute for little tiered trays. They're nice for dough bowls, nice little accents for the seasons or for a special event, a holiday. Having the tape on the end too actually helps too with, sometimes these holes aren't really, they don't create the most clearest hole. You know, there's usually wood in there or what have you, so it's kind of nice. This will push through. You can see little wood flakes are coming through when I pull this through. Okay, is that long enough? Let's keep going. Let's grab a couple more. You can make this as long as you like. Just make sure you cut a nice long strand of twine so that you don't end up short at the end, because we still need to tie this onto the tassel. Which that's probably the worst, the part I don't like, actually. Okay, I started my strand with little beads. So I think I'm gonna end it with little beads instead of a big bead. So we'll put that guy back. And I think I'm gonna find a bag, or I do have a baggie. I'm just gonna kind of put them all together here. I buy these, if I find them, a lot of times I'll find them just on clearance or on sale, and I'll just buy instead of buying the bags of beads, I sometimes will buy the strands. Like I said, they're usually on clearance when I find them. Okay, so I'm going to knot it. So I wrap both strands around the fingers here, pull that through. This will be just kind of like a stopper for the beads. Sometimes the knot's not big enough, like the bead can still come over it. So I'll go a second time around it, and I kind of go around the knot to make the knot look bigger, if that makes sense. So that it can't go past that. And if you're really unsure, you'll go a third time. Like me. I just like to make sure it's not going anywhere. Okay. There we go. That is not going anywhere. All right, so we can break that apart. Take this off, throw it away. All right, now we have our tassel. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Darn it. I was going to add some ribbon to that. Shoot. Guess we could redo it. Could easily redo that. Or we just leave it as is and try not to forget next time. Let's try not to forget next time. How does that sound? Okay. All right, so I'm just kind of fixing my strings here. You could always try to hide that knot under a couple strings too. Okay. So you want to I'm only going to take one part of this, push it through. Okay. And then we're going to knot that. So kind of bring it to the side so that the knot will be, I'll be able to, when I swing it, I'll be able to hide the knot underneath. Take this knot. I'm going to double knot it. All right. Like I said, it'll swing down under for the most part. Okay, before I do that though, I'm going to do it one more time, and then we're going to do a triple knot. There we go. Just to make sure Or what you could do is before you do this part, you could separate it and stick it through. I could have done that as well. But we're just going to cut that. Okay. So then you have you can bring up that string if you want to make it nice and tight. A lot of people sometimes will comb this out to make it nice and fluffy. It depends what you use. If you don't want to use twine, you could use cording or some kind of, I'm trying to think, not string, but like a macrame cord. You could always use something like that. But let's get this, save these pieces. That's a good piece for tying off knots and stuff. Twine sheds, but there you have it. A cute little garland for decorating for the season. And that is our Classic Valentines garland. Let me show you the other ones. Again, if you're interested in the cutouts, go ahead and comment Valentines and get your cutouts. But here we have You're My Number One. This one is You're a Catch. And then this one, You Rock. That one's cute. And then of course we did You're Just My Type. So I did not include this cutout. We'll probably just include the first little guy. These guys are a little bit further away and it got weak at the end points and they kind of just broke off. So we're sticking with the one and I think it looks so darn cute. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick finish of our Classic Valentine's garland, and I got the spring release, which is available to you on the 10th of February. So I'm going to come back later tonight after dinner